Hey you guys, Charlie here. Welcome back to Conquering Kerbal Space Program. The attitude of this episode is going to be that I'm not very happy. All right, I'm a little bit upset because our station does not, it doesn't sit still. It's not stable, and I can't figure out how to do it. I just cannot. I try it with no SAS, no MechJeb, no flight computer. All of the reaction wheels are disabled. No RCS is on, nothing. It is a bunch of stuff docked together, sitting in space with absolutely nothing influencing it. And yet it still shakes itself all to hell. It takes less than a minute and it's just going to explode. So the only answer in this situation, we must defeat the Kraken. You know, the Kraken is there. It's winning. And I think there's a way to beat it. And we have a weapon that the Kraken does not have. And that weapon is space tape. And we can use space tape, I think, to make this all work. So let's configure. We need to bring some stuff to the space station anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build something that brings up two separate, I mean, technically it's 3 modules, but I'm going to include 2 pieces as one module. We're going to bring up 2 separate types of modules as well as a bunch of space tape. And then we're going to connect it all together in space. We're going to get the orbital station all connected, all taped up. And hopefully at that point, with everything like directly connected in that way, it won't shake. That's the hope. Let's go to the VAB and see if I can make that happen. Okay, so we're here in the VAB. I'm going to start this from scratch because I have an idea of how things are supposed to go together, and I also have a reference in my head from the design of the whole station as it's built here in planning. So I'm going to try and see if I can sort of combine 2 different modules together and bring up a bunch of stuff for the Kerbal inventory system and attachment system. So to start this off, how about we grab a regular old little probe? How about we grab the OKTO? Okay, there we go. We're gonna maybe put this up a little bit higher because I think it might need to be a little bit higher. Okay, so first thing is we need to be able to communicate with the probe. We know that already. So let's get science. Communitron 16. Okay, we can communicate with it now. Cool. Once it's in space anyway. Now we're going to need something to influence it a little bit. So I'm going to get fuel tank adapter and make sure it's set to monopropellant. Cool. And I'll leave it as Vega. I don't really care what it looks like. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to need to bring up the science experiments that we're going to be doing for station science. So I'm thinking probably 1, 2, 3 on each side. So if there's 6 experiments total. So how about we go with not a fuel tank. Go to planetary base systems. There are modular corridors that we can use that I think look really good. Right about, not the crossway, here. Yep, this is what I'm talking about. So let's do 3 of these. And at the bottom, we want to have the docking port for the top of the station. There's a docking port on the top of the science bay. And we want to be able to match that. Now, it's a special docking port. And I did it on purpose because I just really like the way it looks. And I wanted to use it at least once. And it just looks cool. So the active one is on the station. So the passive one is the one that we're sending out. This is the passive one. And the passive one needs to be facing the other direction first off. So let's grab like this and flip it around like that. I think that's correct. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that being correct. Okay, so let's put our science experiments on these corridors, on these modular bits. So we're gonna go to science, and these 6 here are the science experiments. Okay, so let's do plant growth, and let's flip it that way. Let's do creature comforts, and let's do quark bioactivity. They're spelt quarks with K-U-A-R-Q, quark. Yeah, I don't know. And then we're gonna do prograde. Yep. Retrograde and eccentric. Eccentric's the one that takes a lot more energy. I think this is the hardest experiment to run. And this experiment is the reason why I've got 2 particle accelerators up there. But as you'll see later on in the future for the station anyway, I think I'll probably end up sending up 2 more particle accelerators. So we'll have 4 total on the station. Because, like, if I'm running this experiment, it's gonna take both particle accelerators at 100% power the entire time. I don't know how long it takes for experiments to run. If it takes a few days, that means for a few days all I'm running is one and I can't run the other ones. And like that's kind of a waste. So if I had 4, I could run the prograde one and the plant growth while I'm running this. And I can do 3 at once now because I've got 2. So like I don't know. I might do that. We'll see. Maybe it's overkill. I don't know. But you know what? Like the whole station's overkill and I like it. I think it's looking good. All right. So we've got this part here. Let's add some battery power to make sure we don't run out of power. How about, you know what? Like these little batteries here will probably be fine. Yeah, we'll do like that. Yep. And then we need to be able to replenish that power. So we'll need solar panels. So how about, where's the retractable ones? I think the icon changed or the skinning changed or something changed about it because I'm having a harder time finding some of these parts that I used to find really quickly. And like photovoltaic, like I almost want to just go like that. And see like where are the collapsible, the retractable ones? I don't see them. You know? Yeah, I don't see them. Like, is this it? Because it doesn't have the enclosed box. But like, yeah, these aren't the ones that can retract. These are the ones that I can extend them, but I can only retract them in the editor. Yeah, I don't want that. I want the ones that I can pull back in. Where'd they go? Is this it? Nope. Ah, okay, there's the little box. It's just harder to see. Yeah, that's just a little hard. That's a little difficult to see. That's okay though. I got this. Wow, those are pretty big though too. How about we do, if I do these ones, they go out like that. Wow. I feel like that's a bit overkill. But whatever, it's cool. At least we'll never run out of power. That's the important thing. Okay, so we've got this little module here. Probe, photovoltaic panels, battery, monopropellant. Of course, we need to use that monopropellant. So how about we go with attitude control, and let's just use like these little thruster blocks. And we'll put 2 here. Put 1 there and put 1 there. Cool. That'll give us some control. I think that'll work out nice. One thing I don't really like, I don't like the look of this. Like, look at this. I don't like the look of these things. Like, I wish they'd be different. So, wonder if there's something I can do to cover them up. I don't want to put heat shields over it because it just looks terrible. Actually, you know what? I think planetary base systems, because this whole thing here works with planetary base systems. I think there's actually like a cover for this, like a cap or something for these parts. Like this one here. Yeah, the corridor ending. Okay. Let's try that. It looks way better. Yeah, we're going to do that. Even though it's adding 6 parts, at this point, the station has so many parts, 6 parts is not going to really matter. Okay, so that's our science, right? We're going to get this up to space, get this near the station, and it will take itself and dock itself, and that's great. So let's move this back up. We're going to need a separator. Structural, let's just do like the stack separator. Okay. Is that what I want? Or do I want like a real separator? I can always break it down for parts. I'll just use the decoupler. Okay, so the next thing we want to bring up is our docking modules, I think, for the station. So we're going to want to bring up the pieces of the station that we're all docking to. So that's in, I think, USI, and it might be a miscellaneous part, undefined maybe. I think it's this station tube, or is it this one? Maybe this one. Parent part. Oh, F. Oh, the F key does something. I don't know. Symmetry around vessel, symmetry around parent part. Interesting. Ooh, that's good to know. It's good to know that that exists. I think this is what I want. It's a lighter weight tube. It's not a big tube. You know, it's a little tube. Let's go this way, just for the sake of... Interesting. Hey, look at that. Kind of moving around. Weird. Okay. Well, we got this tube, and I think we want another tube. So let's actually do one more. And actually, we need docking ports on the ends of the tube. So I need to go... Ooh, that's gonna make attaching this a little difficult, because the docking port that I want is not the size. It's the littlest, the smallest one. Okay. Docking port. We want the small one. Docking port junior. Here we go. So technically, I want something like. Where's this cap? Is that what I want? No. I think there's another way of attaching this. Oh, I don't remember. Am I gonna have to load my station and remember? I might have to. All right, guys, I figured it out. I went to the station, I loaded it up, I had to see what it was. We're looking for space Y parts, and it's this one, I think. A10 interstage adapter. There we go. Now that looks pretty good for a docking port node on the end of that. I think that looks good. I'm not sure how this is gonna all hold together with this though. Like, I'm a little bit concerned about this. Like, that's not gonna hold, but well, you know what? We'll figure that out once we get the rest of it assembled. So we've got that there. Now I need to get this bit with another docking port. Docking port, here we go. Flip it over. Nope. Flip it over, I say. Yeah, like that. What are you doing? Right? Like, hold still. There you go. So there's that. And that's sort of like the start of where I want to be. But we have some other things to do here. So let's go ahead and put in another one. Thinking like right here ish, and then another one goes here. That looks about right to me. You'll see why when we get up to space. You'll see why. Now I need to duplicate this, so I need to do basically this. Unfortunately, I need to connect it the other way. So I need to flip it around and have it connect the other way. But it won't do it because that's how copying parts works. So I'm gonna have to do it piece by piece. So we're gonna copy this, flip it around, and then we're gonna have to rebuild this whole thing. So, okay. So we've got these two tubes with these two docking ports here and here. I've got this docking port that connects to this, and then we've got these two up here. Basically, this is a mirror image of this. So like they're two sides that do the same thing. This is why I said this. Like technically, it's like 3 modules, but I'm sort of saying it's all one, but it's fine. Then we've got the science part. Okay, so that's all the stuff we need to bring up to space, and I'm really not a fan of this connection at all. So maybe we do this a little bit differently. Maybe we do this a little bit differently. Let's take the antenna off of this and we'll stick it on the side. And then let's maybe flip this over and do this instead. That looks really messed up. But I think it might be a little bit more aerodynamic, at least. I don't know. Anyway, I think we're going to do that. It looks really messed up. We're going to strut this too, I think. Probably strut it from like here down to the corks. I think probably at least a little bit. Now, maybe it'll be fine just going up. We'll test it and see if it holds up. Now I want to make sure that this doesn't stick all the way out because it looks stupid. So let's go like that. And then quick test to see if it can extend and not run into this. Yep, looks pretty good. That will work. Cool. So now I just need to get the stuff situated for the space tape, because we need to bring space tape up for sure. So how about we go to find container. I don't think this container is gonna be big enough, but these are kind of too big, right? How many things of space tape can I hold in this? 6,000 L. I don't know, liters? Is that what that is? I think that's what it is. This is what I'm looking for here. The CSR2 portable strut. It's an endpoint for building a strut in EVA. Links are restricted to the same vessel. Useful for strengthening a vessel. Huh, go figure. That's exactly what I want to do. We're gonna take a bunch of these. Oh wow, they're really light. I do need a lot of them though. But it does mean I don't need the container to be that big. What about one of these? It's not so bad. Yeah, like one of these could work, right? And then I can just use the Kerbal attachment system stuff, or the K&K modular stuff. So K&K has these container parts. That doesn't fit, but this one does. Yeah, there we go. If I can get it flipped around the right direction. There we go. All right, guys, so here's the rocket. I got it all strutted up. Looks pretty good up there so far. We've got these Globe X2 SRBs to help push it up. We're not gonna have a whole lot of authority, I wanna say, on turning this thing because the center of mass is actually pretty low. Yeah, it's really low. Not a whole lot I can do about that just because I don't wanna add anything to the craft to bring it up. I also don't want to adjust its design because I don't think I can actually package these on the side here and get away with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have a whole bunch of these fins and hope that we have enough authority over this thing to make that happen. Yeah, I don't know. Once these SRBs get ejected, our center of mass will move up, which is gonna help us a little bit. But I'm hoping that the fins are enough to help us while we're low in the atmosphere. All right, let's launch. Yay, launch pad time. Okay, so looks like staging's pretty good still. Nothing changed there, everything is fine. How is our electric charge doing? It's doing okay. Not really draining much, that's good. I don't have any lights on this. Maybe I should. No, there's not really a whole lot of like good places to attach lights on this part. And this part, I don't really want, whatever. It is what it is. We're not gonna have lights, sorry. It just the way it is. Map view, let's try to find our station. And it's this red dot over here. Cool. So the station is serving as a command center because it has more than 6 Kerbals, or 6 or more Kerbals on it, and a Pioneer module with someone inside it. So there we go. We have, this is the same thing, by the way, that we're going to be doing around Jewel as well. We're going to be having a station around Jewel that has at least 6 Kerbals in it with a Pioneer module, and that way we can do all of our exploration around Jewel and its moons and all that stuff. We can do all that stuff without a whole lot of lag in our probes, because they'll be communicating with the station and not Kerbin. So that's good. We'll probably do the same thing around Sarnus as well, just so that we can do some more work with Elu, because that is one of the places we have to make a self-sufficient base on. It's a moon now. That's going to be a really big challenge. I'm probably going to use some oh man, I'm drawing a huge blank here, guys. Thermoelectric generators. We're probably going to use some of those. Isotopic. I know the name of it. I just can't think of it. Anyway, so we're going to do time acceleration to get this. Come on. Come on. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't go too far. I have a tendency, a really bad habit actually, of time accelerating way further than I should. I think this is good. So let's go ahead and SAS on, thrusters to max, punch it. And hopefully this doesn't fall apart because they're strutted with big heavy struts. Oop, well, it's a bit shaky, but I think I can keep it under control. I think I can. Choo-choo. Sorry. Couldn't help it. Looks good so far. Those struts, man. If I didn't put those struts on. Yeah, if I didn't put those struts on, this whole thing comes crashing down pretty fast. Come on. There we go. We're getting in a little thinner atmosphere now. Struts are helping us out a bit. It's good. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't go too far, don't go too far, don't go too far. No! Whoa! Okay, whoop, 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 nope. Oh man, I think this is a failed launch. This is probably a failed launch. At this point, I'm kind of thinking it's a failed launch. Oh my gosh, keep it under control! Oh no. Well, if I can just ring it around one more time, that might be kind of cool. We're getting close to our apoapsis though, and we don't have a whole lot of speed. So we probably are not gonna meet up with the station at the right timing. Come on, come on, yes. Okay, so at least we're able to control it now. Oh my gosh. And those struts held it all together. That's why I want to strut the station. Because, like, if we hold it together under extreme circumstances, it'll hold it together. Now, I wonder if we can even rendezvous with this thing on the first go now. Is it even possible to rendezvous with this? No idea. I do know that I'm running low on fuel here, but, I mean, I was going to. That's the intention, is to run out of fuel eventually in this engine. And then get rid of it, but... Oh my gosh, do you see this? Guys, are you seeing this? Better Burn Time says we're going to be 1.4 kilometers from the station. So, yeah, we did it. Spun around 3 times, and everything held together. I couldn't do that again. On purpose, I couldn't do that again. 1.4 kilometers in 2 minutes and 26 seconds. It's going to be a 22-second burn, so it says, but that's not accurate because like this, the thrust on this is way different than this. So I'm really not sure how long to burn. It's going to be an adventure. So that's how much I have to burn off. How much fuel do I even have in this stage? It's going to be really close. But I have a lot here, so that's going to be good. Then I eject and I push it out here. But the thrust is going to be a lot lower on the next stage. So I don't know how to time this. I really don't. I just need to get the station close enough, and we'll see what happens. This kind of looks cool, doesn't it? Somebody mentioned that I should make a mobile station, right? Like an interplanetary ship that's like a station that travels, and I'm totally down for that. Like, I totally am. I've actually been working on one for about 2 years. I was working on it 2 years ago, I should say, or a year ago. How long ago was it? I don't know. I'm terrible with time. It was a while ago. When I played KSP, well before the 1.1 update, I was working on something that I called the Goliath. And it used B9 aerospace parts, and it had cargo bays, and it had mining equipment on it, and it had its own rover, and it had its own lander. It's a pretty nifty little creation I have in the spaceplane hangar. And I built it in the spaceplane hangar because it just made more sense for me to build it, like, because it's designed to go that way, you know? It's not designed to go up, at least as far as how it was designed when I wanted to build it. I'm going to hit it now. I think it's a little early, because according to Better Burn Time, it is a little early. But the thrust differences make me think that I'm going to have a hard time meeting up with the station with the next stage. So I'm going to do it now. But anyway, the Goliath is definitely a craft file that I have that I might bring back if I can. If it's something that I can actually do, I might bring it back. We'll see. See if it actually can work. I definitely can't get it into orbit. I know that right now. Oh no, the game froze up, and physics is loaded. The physics problem, it had to load physics, and it's gonna fly right past us because, again, the thrust to weight ratio is a lot lower on this engine. But at least we're making some progress. It is gonna fly well past us though. We're gonna have to catch up to it. I just hope we don't get more than 10 kilometers away. That's like the only thing I don't want to have happen, so. And it looks like we're going to be fine in that regard. It looks like we're going to, it's not going to get too far away from us. Oh no, I lost connection. Are you kidding me? How did I lose connection? Because the station, oh no. Come on. Come on, Charlie. Really? 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 Did that happen? It seriously happened? Yeah, it seriously happened. You didn't put this antenna out. You're a douchebag. Oh, come on. Really? I feel really, really upset about that. I feel really upset about that, guys. Like, wow. Of all the things, Is there any way to save this? Is there any way I can save this? Not unless this gets a connection from a satellite that's above me. That's the only way. Otherwise, this thing's falling back to Kerbin. Ah. I mean, it should be a failure anyway. If you think about how we launched, it really should be a failure anyway. Because, we flipped around 3 times and... come on, how did I forget that? Is it just like the craziness of the moment that makes me forget that? Come on. Give me a satellite around here somewhere. It's not going to be close enough anyway. I'm not high enough for the satellites to get me. Not with this little antenna anyway. I had a signal when the station was close by because the station is a command center. And as soon as the station got 3 kilometers away, that was it. Game over. Oh, well. I wonder what piece will explode first. I would think something over here would explode first. Yeah. This one right here. It's going. Oh, nope. Oh, there it is. It's on fire. It's on fire. Oh, not quite. But pretty close. Solar panels. How are the solar panels still alive? I don't know. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so then we get back up into space, and I get the antenna out, and the game tells me that the antenna cannot be deployed while stowed, like it does the solar panels. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's total crap. And it is connected, but the antenna cannot extend, and the game is interpreting it as being stowed, even though it's activated. So something's really messed up there. I don't know. But anyway, no problems with it this time. We're not going to waste another 120 grand. We're going to get ourselves rendezvoused. It did go a little bit far. I had a hard time trying to figure out when to burn because the thrust-to-weight ratio difference between the big engine I had and this littler engine here, it's a difference that I can't quite figure out. And the station, this whole video is a big frustration ball, and I'm glad that I get to do post-commentary because you guys would just be like, wow, he is really upset about this. And I am. I'm really upset because the station repetitively, non-stops, and I'm talking like every couple of seconds. This isn't like something that takes a little bit. This is like, oh, you mean it's one-time speed now? Sure, I'm just going to shake all to hell. The station is completely unstable. There is no way I can use this station the way it is now. Absolutely not. And at this point, I need to get this module connected, and I need to get this docked. I did happen to time accelerate a little bit too far, and I went past the station. I have to come back. And that's not because I was impatient. That's because I had to time accelerate to get the station to stop, freaking out, and I just happened to hit the button one too many times, and then it takes a while because of the frame rate to slow the game back down. Anyway, enough complaining. I did enough complaining behind the scenes that you guys don't need to see. But anyway, so I get this docked, and this is a really difficult thing to do. It's a pretty simple thing. Get this thing docked to the station. That doesn't seem that hard, but it's very hard to do when every couple of seconds you have to go into 5 times time acceleration and then take it back out. That's pretty difficult to do. And it gets even more complex when you have to juggle crafts. So for this example, the frontmost module that I have on the craft actually doesn't dock to the regular docking ports. It's a smaller docking port. There's a reason why I've done that, but for now, in order to get the thing docked on the other side of this little, module, what is it? The node, the docking node that has multiple pieces to it. In order to do that, I need to use my tug again, which means now I've got the station to deal with and it's shaking. I've also got the other craft, which is drifting a little bit and may end up being really far away if I'm not careful. And then I've got the tug to deal with, and I have to keep an eye on both the station. I always, at all times, I can't have the camera how I want. At all times, I have to keep the station in the camera so I can see that it's shaking. And this causes a problem because when you're trying to line up your shot, if you will, when watching Olympics, if you're trying to line up your shot, okay, and you're trying to go ahead and grab that module, and you think you're lined up, but right at the moment when you think, okay, cool, I'll just take it slow from here and we'll go ahead and grab it. At that moment, that's when the station starts to shake, and you have to time accelerate, which means your craft is going to go really fast, and you're going to miss your target. So it's a really big frustration ball. This whole thing here took me about an hour. Just from the rendezvous point to getting these things docked, it's about an hour. Lots of different pauses in between there to, take care and do my fatherly duties, if you will. And those pauses will just be skipped over and be represented by what is essentially a skip in the video frame. But yeah, I mean, you can see how violent this is. And if I let it go, and maybe I'll post like if you want, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you want to see what happens if I leave the station alone and let it do its thing, because there was one point where I did that. I just decided I'm just gonna sit back and let's just see how it ends up. And it's pretty comical. It's pretty funny. It's not something that would be necessarily something that would fit in this episode, but if you want to see it, I'll go ahead and edit it into the next episode or something somehow. Because the next episode, we're going to finally fix this. It's too late in this episode. It's getting too long. It's too late to actually go ahead and fix the station completely right now because it's a pretty lengthy process. And imagine also having to worry about doing some strutting, which is what we're going to end up doing. We're going to end up strutting the station and applying struts all over the place in EVA. Imagine trying to do that while also, again, having to time accelerate constantly. And on top of that, when you put struts in place, you know what? I'll tell you later. That part, I don't want to spoil it. I'll just save it for later. But look at the shake. It's pretty bad. All right. So if you're building a station in Kerbal Space Program, if you're building a big station in Kerbal Space Program, plan ahead for this type of problem. Plan ahead, knowing that if you have modules, even if you're using senior docking ports, and this is the reason why I chose the seniors, because I thought it would prevent this problem, and clearly it does not. If you're using senior docking ports even, and you're making a big station like this one is, you're going to have to plan ahead for the Kraken, okay? You're going to have to feed the Kraken a little bit, give it what it wants, and what it wants is stability. So anyway, we got that node, it's docked, and now I have to get the other side docked. Now this part's a little easier. I don't need the tug for this part because the docking port that's at the end of this vessel is the same size docking port as where it needs to be. The only problem is this thing is actually drifted, quite a bit of ways, and every time I time accelerate, which again I have to do intermittently because it's still shaking, even way off in the distance like this, even 2 kilometers away, the station is going to shake itself apart. And so I can't quite see it very well. I can't see the station very well, but when I see its movements, I hit the button, I'm not taking any chances in it going crazy. And another problem that happens when the station decides to go crazy is that even if you stop it, right, even if you time accelerate before it gets way out of control, sometimes the parts will even shift in their position a little bit. I've had it happen once, and I had to reload a quick save because it was just stupid. I've had it happen once to where the storage tank that's between the main, I guess, module of the station and the big storage tanks and ultimately the giant solar panel, that little dark colored MKS tank became disconnected from the RCS tank that's above it. It wasn't disconnected to the point where it came apart completely as an independent thing. It was shifted to the point where only half of it is on. It's sort of like it's attached, but it's crooked. And it would stay like that. It was perfectly fine. It didn't seem to throw off the balance of the station any more than it was already thrown off. However, for something in the system was not interpreting it as being connected anymore, and so none of my modules could get any electricity because all of my solar panels are below that container. And so the RCS tank would give me RCS, that was fine, but the amount of resources I could see were about as limited as, what you're seeing right now with this craft, and that's electric charge, reserve, monopropellant, liquid fuel, oxidizer, etc. That's about all I had. I had food, I had water, I had electric charge, monopropellant, and that's about it. I didn't have all of the other resources, like material kits and things like that. I didn't have any of that stuff because it technically, according to the system anyway, it was not connected to the station anymore. Even though it wasn't detached completely, it also wasn't attached completely. So if you let things get out of hand, well, things get out of hand, and that's just sort of the way it works. So here's a part where, and again, I got to deal with the shaking too, but this is the part where I start to try and use docking port alignment indicator, and I'm getting better with this tool at this point. I'm getting better to the point where don't touch the habitation module. See, I have to keep myself from going too close to the habitation ring, but if it gets out of hand and starts shaking, I also have to stop it from shaking, so I don't always get to go where I want to go. But this is I'm starting to learn how this tool works. I'm starting to learn that, you want to put your velocity vector, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm starting to learn how to better use this tool so that it's not getting completely crazy. But at this point, I'm really tired, and I don't know if you could tell. You might not have been able to tell. Maybe some of you could. At the beginning of this episode, anyway, when I was recording this whole thing, I had quite a few beers. I had a good night out, and I was coming back in, and I was like, yeah, you know what? That was a good night. I'm gonna play some KSP because I can, and that was kind of how I felt about that. So I was in a pretty good mood. We were happy. Everything was fine. The eulogy and stuff for Bartman before I did that a long time ago, but this here was all done in the same sitting as the last episode. Like everything's been done in the same sitting. So yeah. Anyway, at this point, I'm really tired. I've been playing KSB for a long time. So here you go. Oh, it was so difficult. That is so hard. Wow. Okay. Well, now I've got to get a Kerbal out, get an engineer out, and bring him over to this box right here. This box has the tools in it. So I need to go and get these struts, and then I'm going to start strutting the station. We're going to start with, I don't really care where we start. We just have to do it. So I'm thinking I'm going to start and strut from like maybe here to here. So let's try to keep that in place. Because it seems to be flexing around the docking ports. That seems to be where it wants to flex. This was actually quite helpful that time, because like trying to do this time acceleration is just not going to happen. And if I get close enough to this station and I'm not lined up properly already, and not like I'm crooked, when this thing starts wobbling, it's just going to bang into me, and then I'm done. I'm toast. So that was actually quite helpful here. For the most part, I needed to do it with how I was comfortable, which is with the nav ball, but that was fairly helpful. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to stop playing for the day. I'm going to come back tomorrow, and I'm going to finish this part and try to get this thing strutted up, because that is a challenge. Just getting that docked was a challenge. Yeah, this all took way longer than it should have. This damn station. If I sound frustrated, or if I sound tired, I probably sound tired, but if I sound frustrated, it's because I am. I don't understand why it's doing that. I just don't get it. All the reaction wheels, like every reaction wheel on this vessel right now is disabled. Everything is disabled. This shouldn't be doing it at all. Alright, so I'm going to have to strut it. And maybe I'll also strut from, I'll probably do from like here to here, and then also from here to here to keep this intact too. So that would be 1, 2. Then I'll also go to here, so that'll be 3. Then I'll strut down here, that'll be 4. So that'll be 4 just there. I have enough, I brought a bunch, so I have enough to do this, but I'm just hoping that the struts keep it stable. You know, will the struts actually stop it from doing that? I don't know. At this point, like this is the last hope. The struts have to do it. If the struts don't do it, I don't think I'm going to add anything else to the station. Because, I mean, why? I probably won't end up using the station. If the struts don't stabilize this, I probably won't use the station. Where's the rest of the resources? What? It's not showing me, like, the fertilizer, the material kits. None of that stuff is showing up here. It's not even showing me electric power. All right, I'm gonna reload the game. I'm going to bed anyway, so I'll reload the game next time. So, thanks for watching, guys. Not the ending I wanted you to have for this episode, but like it just had more struggles than I thought I'd have. The Kraken is certainly putting up a fight. Figure out what I gotta do to beat it. But that'll be next time.